Good morning, everyone. The first one is from Tim. Any improvements in review display widgets coming soon?
Not this quarter, but definitely the next quarter.
Say that again, sorry.
Not this quarter, but definitely the next quarter.
Okay. Thanks.
Next
I mean, it's on the roadmap. Like, I'm not just saying it's next quarter. It's on the roadmap. We want to improve reputation next quarter.
It's for real.
Q5.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Next question's from Kristen. She's asking, is there an update on Sentry Link login issues?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's out of your guys' hands. I didn't know if you just heard anything or give us an update.
I didn't. I caught a very brief conversation in Slack on that. I don't know, Shivam or Nasa, were you guys a part of any of those conversations?
No, it hasn't come into my purview.
Hey, so we are actually working with Google to help it, because it's actually not us that's necessarily affected. It's actually Firebase, which is a component of Google, and CenturyLink, and I believe Verizon. I guess they enabled McAfee on all their home routers for customers, and McAfee is blocking some of those connections. And so we're trying to work with Google because they can put a little bit more pressure on the McAfee side. And then we're going to try making some changes on our side to see if we can work around it as well. But give us another day or two to see if we can get some quick resolution, if not sooner than that.
Cool. Thanks, Robin.
Next question is from Stephanie. Will there be triggers off of invoices, like when paid, if past due dates, etc.?
Yeah. So I'm working on invoices. So invoices, let me take this opportunity to give an update on invoices. It is in QA or later stages of QA. So most of the testing is done, and 90% of the bugs were fixed. And sometime during next week, we will put that in beta. So which you can access with the beta.gohighlevel.com link with your typical usual credentials. So it should be available on beta next week. So this release is going to have the one-time payments for the invoices. So you can give it a test ride, and then if you feel comfortable, you can test it. Send it to your your leads as well, your clients as well. And of course, let me know the feedback. So we can keep improving upon that.
Is that going to integrate with PayPal at all? So if, like how we have Stripe right now, will PayPal also be able to be in the invoices as well?
We are not targeting PayPal at this stage. So this release that I'm talking about is going to be only with the card payment, so which integrates with Stripe.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you.
And then there's a second part.
Yeah. So I'm going to that. So the actual question is, will there be triggers off of invoices? Yes, definitely it will be there, but it won't be there on the release that I just talked about. Immediately after that, probably within like 3 weeks or so, we should be able to have 3 weeks after we put the beta release out, and we can have the triggers based on the invoices. And the triggers that we are targeting are whenever the invoice is sent out, and whenever the invoice is due, past due, and paid. So those triggers will be there. And also what we want to do is that we want to give the email configurations right within the invoices section, so that whenever the invoice is paid, you want to get notified. We don't want you to always create a workflow and attach it to invoices, etc. Instead, we will give on the settings page of invoices, we will have an ability to, you can choose whether you want to get notified upon an invoice payment, or you want to be notified upon a failed payment, for example. So those things you can just, put a checkbox and put your email address there, and the invoice itself will automatically trigger those standard email templates so that you get notified. You don't have to necessarily create workflows, but you can also do that in case if you want to. So those are the features that we are targeting. But these two, the triggers and the emails coming out of the invoice feature itself, won't be available next week. But definitely in the next few weeks, it should be out. So incrementally, we are planning to release all these things one by one. So that's
beautiful.
The plan.
Thank you.
And could there be a time zone field added to the standard fields for forms and surveys? I will take this as an input and I will put that on my roadmap. Right now, we are short of resources on forms and surveys. We are actively hiring, and once we have those people in, I'll be able to run fast on forms and surveys. So I will take this input.
Awesome. Next question is from Michelle. She's asking if there's any WhatsApp integration update.
Yeah, so I'll take that. WhatsApp is actually in production, but none of you can see it. We are testing it with a few agencies in the US, Canada, and the UK. The problem that we are facing with WhatsApp is, I mean, agencies in the US, UK, and Canada, they don't care much about WhatsApp. The agencies that care about it are, in Latin America, APAC, and some African and European countries. Like that's where we are getting the most requests. The problem is in any of these countries, to buy a Twilio phone number and to convert it to WhatsApp, you need to have regulatory bundle. And for that, we will have to build the regulatory bundle inside the app. So that's what we are doing right now. Once we are at a stage where you can get regulatory bundle approvals and you can start purchasing numbers in these territories from within high level, that's when WhatsApp will roll out to other nations as well. If you are someone who is exclusively operating in US, UK, and Canada and want to try out WhatsApp, just write to me on shivam@gohighlevel.com and we can get this enabled for you right now.
Okay, thanks.
We should also point out, Shivam, I think while we're talking about it, all the details of WhatsApp in general. So like, I feel like a lot of people hear WhatsApp and they're like, free everything, yes. But it's not like that.
It's actually very painful right now. So we are trying to just simplify WhatsApp as far as possible. But right now, I mean, so you need to be on the ISV, you need to be on the lead connector phone system. If you want to purchase numbers, especially in Latin American countries, Asia Pacific countries, you need to do the regulatory bundle. Once you get the phone number done, you can enable WhatsApp on it. For that, you will have to fill a form and connect your Facebook Business Manager. And all of this is like manual approvals from Twilio and Meta. So these guys are actually very picky about it. Like if the business name on your Facebook Business Manager is a little bit different and the website that you submitted, the branding is a bit off, or if they feel that this landing page is not a genuine landing page. So I mean, these rejections are there. There are ways to get around it. There are ways to optimize the conversion. But it's that stage that we are in. And all of this is, again, regulated by Meta very closely, regulated by Twilio very closely. So we are just trying to do the best we can and simplify it as much as possible. So yeah, like those are some challenges we are facing. But the moment we have regulatory bundle, we'll roll it out to all nations.
But it's pretty possible, it sounds like, if it's US.
Yes, I mean, US is good right now. I mean, you can just write to me and we'll enable WhatsApp for US agencies right away. The costing is actually, again, a little bit tricky. So when you convert a phone number to WhatsApp, you pay like a monthly subscription for the phone number. And then there is like the per messaging cost, just like SMS, there is per messaging cost for WhatsApp. And even there is a little bit of added complexity. If you keep replying to your leads within the 24-hour window, just like Facebook Business Messenger, like Messenger, if you keep replying to your leads within the 24 hours and the conversation continues, your cost per message is actually less. But if you let the session expire, then you have to start with a template message, and that template message is a bit more expensive compared to the regular replies. So a lot of different variables are at play. It's a bit difficult to explain. What I'll do is I'll just drop like a link to a help doc, like a product spec doc in the chat, and anyone who's interested can go to that.
Okay, but otherwise, for US now, if you enable it, any chats would just flow right into the conversations, calls would come in, everything kind of normal as you would expect today, right?
Only WhatsApp chats, not WhatsApp calls.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. That was just an update that we got, that they put out a notification the other day, right? So this 24-hour window span, like you don't get charged over and over again within the 24-hour conversation, which is cool. Because before I think it was you had to pay every single message regardless, right?
No. Case, this is what. So the Twilio email was worded very cleverly. The per conversation cost is on top of the per message cost. So the per message cost hasn't gone away.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a very early technology, and that's why there are like so many hoops to jump through, to successfully use it. But with time, this is going to become very simple. We already have some ideas to simplify it. We are just executing on it.
Cool.
Awesome. Back to Stephanie. She's asking, is there an ETA on the BCC/CCC emails?
I don't think Shah is there, Sean. So yeah, Shah has this on his roadmap, and I don't know the rough timings. Probably in early Q2 is what he is targeting, is what I believe. Again, since we are going through the resource crunch and we are actively hiring, once these resources are on board, he will be able to deliver on that quickly. From what I recall, I think it is coming up in Q2.
Awesome. Next question we have is from George. He needs an email folder, please. With a lot of dots.
Yeah. So emails. So right now I can give an update. So right now we are working on migrating the HTML builders into the emails. So once that task is done, it is already in QA. So once that is done, we are going to work on the search and folders capability in emails. So maximum it should be out in about 3 weeks. So that's going to be our next priority after the HTML builder.
Yeah. I have a follow-on question to that or comment. I had a client where they just have a naming construction and they actually reuse the same name on 2 templates. And so they ended up picking the wrong one. There's no validation that the email template name is unique. And it's the only thing that you're able to pick on anywhere in the system. So it just seems like, and I was told this needs to be an idea, when to me, that's like the critical.
Yeah. Clients, people are dumber than you think. So yeah, we have to help people not hurt themselves.
Yeah, we will have that. We'll enable that capability.
We'll add that to the list.
Awesome. Next question is from Kristen, the CC/BCC on workflows. Is that on like a different pipeline, or is that the same with Sarah or Stephanie's question?
Yeah, I guess I just kind of wanted to confirm that if we do get the CC/BCC in Q2, is that just for sort of the compose an email, or does that also apply to any of our templates, workflows, all of that, the capabilities?
I have a small follow-up question. And I mean, Shah is there's another product manager for the CRM core. But just to help me understand, when we are doing a manual email and, let's say you're talking to a lead and suddenly you want somebody else from the sales department, or maybe you're talking to a business and they want to add another decision maker into the conversation. So in the manual conversation, CC, BCC totally makes sense. But if you do this on a workflow and you add yourself to CC or, your business to the CC, and won't that just flood your inbox? I just want to know what value it adds if we add CC, BCC in the workflow.
Yeah, so one of the examples would be that one of our clients has a referral system. So if the lead is lost or the lead is abandoned, then they send out an email to their referral team or the other company with that lead in, on the email as well. So we've been able to work around it where we kind of just give the lead the information and then another email where we send it to the referral. But, that sort of is a misline of communication where they may not actually receive the referral because they're not in on the actual email with both the referrer or the referee and the lead. Got it.
So the reason I asked that question is because you're not looking for like a global setting that BCC all the workflows to a particular email. You want this to be workflow specific. Like some workflows require the BCC and CC, and then certain workflows do not.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Good.
I feel like we could add the CC and BCC feature to the workflow faster because effectively we just wouldn't put it into the conversation somehow. It would just sort of be there. it feels like it wouldn't have to be tied. Am I thinking about that wrong?
No, actually, Sean, you are right over there. It's easier to just add this in the workflow than in the conversation. There will be some cascading effects. For example, when we show the price calculation and all of that, like even when you add a CC or a BCC, Mailgun is going to count that as like 2, 3, 4, like whatever multiple of emails. We will have to adapt the SaaS billing a little bit for this, but yes, it can be done. I think workflow is definitely going to be faster than conversation.
Can we put that on the workflow product manager? That's Suresh, right? Can we put that on his list?
Yeah, I just made a note for them. I just took some notes, exactly the use case that we discussed, and I have tagged both of them.
Thank you.
Perfect. Next, sorry, did someone want to go?
I just said thanks.
Of course, of course. Patrick, I just read through your question. Do you want to come online and kind of express it? Because there seems to be more that you want to say.
Okay, thanks, Nico. I was wondering if there is an opportunity, for example, if you have if a location closes on a lead and they mark it as one, and then they want to forward that opportunity to someone outside of the location. For example, an insurance agency that, the opportunity, the lead says, I'm interested in life insurance. They would like to forward that opportunity to their partner outside of the location. Right now, we're taking screenshot to say, hey, this person is interested at getting a quote. Would that be something that we can forward the opportunity now that we know they're interested, or trigger it?
So wait,
tag it?
Yeah, you could do that now. When you say forward it, that concept probably makes sense in your head, but that doesn't actually make sense in reality. What does that mean? Send an email, send a text, smoke signal, postcard.
Yeah,
what do you want?
Send an email or an SMS. Yes.
Well, you can do that right now. Opportunity status change marked as one. Send email.
But are you sending it to an outside person?
You send it to anybody you want. Internal notification action. Choose type email. Type in email address.
And that person is not within the location, correct? Okay.
No, not at all.
All right.
You can use custom emails, and yeah, I mean, it's a very straightforward solution that Sean mentioned.
Okay. You just have to use the send internal notification action, so that will help you do this.
Yeah, in fact, what you should do is, Shivam, can you drop the customer success Zoom room link? Just jump in with success, and they can show you to set that up. It's super easy.
Thanks, Sean.
Probably with this one, it would actually help if instead of it being called send internal notification, it was just called send notification. Because I think everybody imagines that it's only for things inside the app and do internal stuff, and don't even realize that they can send out to external SMS numbers and external emails.
But with that, once you forward that email, for example, would the person receive an email will have the contact information in it? Say this person is interested and here's their information?
Yes, so the email that you compose is going to look like this, that, hey, XYZ insurance business, I'm sending you a lead, contact.name, contact.phone, contact.email.
All right, thank you, guys.
Right, but you can only do that in the workflow that way, right? You can't send an email to somebody who's not a contact in the system, just a regular email.
That's called internal notification. So you design the same email. Yeah, and NASA is just going to do a live demo. So you design your email with the same custom values like contact.name, email, phone number, notes, whatever. And here on the internal notification, you can either select a user or just put in any email ID that you want.
Yeah. So there's a from email address, and you just type in whatever you want to do.
Right, but I can't just send in other words, I just can't send an email to my partner Scott and say, Scott, you take care of this for me if he's not inside GHL. I mean, in a workflow, you have.
You can look. You just choose custom email.
Yeah, just put Scott's email right there. Boom, done. Moving on.
But again, that's inside a workflow. I mean, I can't. I'm just talking about typing an email and sending it to someone outside the contact. You can't do that.
No, this is outside the contact. This is a custom email. This is not
I think what he's trying to say is you have to set this email and this once the workflow
it will
is set,
always go to him every time this workflow runs. Yeah.
Right. I'm just looking to hand something off like to someone else and go, look, you take care of this for me. It's not a workflow. It's not a process. It's just a one-shot deal.
Well, add them as a contact.
Yeah.
Seems
Right.
like a
Add
very
them as a
simple.
Right. If they had him as a contact. Right. Okay.
Cool. I think we're good, right, Patrick?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you, sir.
Cool. And then once you get that down, you should check out the how-to on to do appointment follow-up surveys. Because
yeah, I knew that. I think I'm comfortable enough to understand what we just discussed. I was more like a tag thing, but I got it. All good.
Cool.
Perfect. Next question is from Tim. He's asking, when will you migrate our old domains to the new level 0 CDN?
Right. So this, I mean, we have put together a documentation on how to do this. So in fact, I have this document right here with me. So I just need to hand it over to Chase and get this published. So you can do it yourself. So this will need you to make A records and the CNAME configurations in your domain service provider. And of course, the new SSL certificate will get provisioned, and that takes up to an hour, etc. So
I'm aware of all that. Thanks, Nasa. I read all of that in the announcement. But the announcement also said at some point that I think it said that you would be migrating everyone or all of the current domain setups. Maybe I got that wrong.
Chase, any?
I thought that was going to happen without us having to do it manually.
So this is the question of like, remember when we did flash funnels, like at a certain point,
yeah,
everybody just automatically got moved.
Okay, so I know what's happening there. So yeah, we'll eventually migrate you, but eventually is undefined at this time. So far, the only known issue with it is that we don't like how long it takes to clear the cache on some of the items on change. So we're working with, so this is a brand new Google product. So we're working with their team to basically iron out those details. But I mean, things are proceeding spectacularly. What I've been pleased most on though is that it works really well. And for people who are looking at how to judge this, look at the total load times and time to first byte. Those are the things that the CDN solves for, and it's spectacular. So I had somebody show me yesterday, like, I'm still getting the exact same grade, but if you look at the total load time of the page, it went from 6 seconds to 2 seconds. So in the real world, that's phenomenal. That's like saying I got my McDonald's order in 2 seconds versus 6 seconds. Everyone's going to like that better, right? Like the web page is going to pop on screen a lot faster. So it's a spectacular product, but the only thing that we're holding off on at the moment, and this doesn't really impact most people, but we just, the caching is taking longer than we want. Google is going to fix it. So we're just going to like chill out until that happens. And then we'll just sort of and it's kind of like a natural beta test as well. It's like, well, hey, anybody who's crazy enough to look at my video and follow these instructions, come on down, give us some testing. And then when we'll roll out, and then the next big step is we'll swap that dialog window internally. We'll swap that from flash funnels to level 0, and that'll push even more people over. And then finally, when we get around to it, we'll just push everybody over. And I suspect that'll be a 6-month process. There's no real motivation on our side to go faster.
Yeah, I'm for any new work, I'm satisfied with using a new one and just,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you should. But but the other big part of this is back to the grading. There's a third step in the optimization that will really impact those graders. And so we're heads down on that right now. So I want to make sure is that we deliver that final package to everybody where it's like, hey, look, it's A, feel happy, everybody. See that big green A? It's there. Congratulations. Like that's the piece that I'm most interested in, because I think that's how we're going to get judged out in the real world. So once that's dropped, that's when we'll go a little crazier on this, only because we'll feel confident that we can basically deliver what people are expecting in their head, which is to run, Google page speed and GT metrics and see, A's across the board. Now, of course, there will be limitations to that. There still will be ways to mess your page up, but we want to make sure on our end, we're as fully optimized automatically as we possibly can. And we're real close.
Okay, thanks.
I just want to ask you a question on that real quick. So first of all, Sean and everybody, thank you so much for keeping doing the speed improvements. Yeah, this new one is awesome.
Absolutely.
Just so I know, I'm going to migrate everything over to the new one.
Yeah.
In the help doc, that you said that I have to remove the domain and re-add it, which makes sense. My question is, I want to be able to maintain the URLs that I had before because I'm running traffic to it. Is there a way to make sure that that end URL retains? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I feel cagey about guaranteeing that for you. You might want to do it in the middle of the night or something.
Okay.
The end URL has always worked for me.
Well, it often can, but Google's SSL products, you know, they're a little lackadaisical here because they don't live in the world of funnels like we do. And so they're like, yeah, it can take a couple hours. Right. And so if you're running traffic to a funnel, that's not fun.
Well,
right?
Yeah. I mean, as far as the caching, that has been a problem. Well,
I'm talking about creating the SSL certificate. So I've actually seen scenarios where the SSL certificate took 8 hours to generate, but it eventually generated itself. Now we follow up on all those, and Google is more like the hour line is good for us. And so we're sort of pinning them to that. But again, this is the fun of working with a beta product. But what I like about it so far is that it's very robust. So while it may take whatever too much time to get the first SSL certificate, or takes longer to clear the cache or whatever, I mean, it scales like nobody's business, and you can hit it really hard and it doesn't flinch, and it's incredibly fast in comparison to anything I've ever seen, which is really what I want to get out of it.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, I'll like you said, I'll beta test and find out.
There you go. Smart. I like it.
Awesome. Next question we have is from David. Any update on the membership presentation, styling, and themes?
Yes. So, David, what's going to happen is, and I think everyone on the call, so now if you go to any location and you go to this location setting, like, you just click over here, you will see a new option here called Labs. All our beta features, we will try to release them in Labs first. So you can see that, improvement in filters is already on Labs. I have opted in. It tells me, what the experience is going to be. And it also tells me that whether I like it or not, it's going to go live in 57 days. So similarly, when you visit the Labs probably tomorrow or the day after, you will see a new product over here, which will be called Membership Themes. And you can opt into it. It is going to be purely opt-in at the same. Okay, Neelashish is here. Neelashish, do you want to show people how it works?
It's just on that when you're saying opt-in. When you're saying opt-in, Shivam, is that opt-in for our whole agency? So all of our locations would get it?
No, it's going to be on a per location basis because memberships is inside the location feature.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm asking.
Yeah, so you'll have to opt in for each and every location that you want to test this on.
Okay, no, that's ideal. That's exactly how I was hoping. Yes, thank you.
Yep. So yeah, the membership themes and customization capabilities, we are already done with QA and just planning for the release. So anytime, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we will have those things live on production. You can just go on Labs and just toggle it on and start using your themes and customizations and provide the valuable feedback. I also saw some few questions regarding memberships. I'll try to answer them all. Like, I'll just brief about the roadmap, how memberships are looking. So themes goes out this week with all the customization capabilities and few predefined templates that you can use from. Post that, we will be adding order bump and upsell capabilities, which will come out like anywhere near the end of Feb. And then we have assessments. So someone was asking about assessments in the chat. So yeah, that's the third priority item on the list. So by end of Q1 or early Q2, assessments, which may be called as quizzes, membership themes with couple of more new themes and updates, and upsell capabilities will be there. So yep, that's the idea that or the roadmap we have for memberships.
Neelashish, can we see a preview of themes?
I don't want to do it right now. Maybe just few more days till we release it. It's quite exciting, and let's keep it that way.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm pretty sure what he means is, so what Neelashish means is that they did the demo I think they did the demo yesterday for an internal team. And since then they have done something on the back end and it does not work anymore. So I think that's what he is getting at. But the good thing is you will be able to see this on labs. You can opt in. And also the new way to suggest feedback, right? We want as many people as possible to just test it at the beta stage. And there is a very convenient way to submit your feedback for the beta as well. So, I mean, you don't need to submit this on Facebook comments and hope that someone reads it. You don't have to ping product managers personally. If you look at this option over here, all beta products will have a submit feedback button. And if you submit your feedback here, and please include some attachments or maybe record a loom of what you're seeing and what improvements you want, this will directly come to the relevant product manager. Like whoever needs to know it will know it.
Shivan, I might have missed it, but what is the high level concept of what Teams in membership is doing?
So right now, if you create memberships, it looks all the same. So let's say you are a coach for membership creators, right? Basically, let's say you are a coach for coaches. All of the memberships are going to look the same right now. And if you want to modify that, you need to use a lot of custom CSS. Probably you need to hire someone on Fiverr to do it for you.
But Melissa, we're talking about themes, not teams.
Themes. Steph just sent me a text. Old lady, you got it wrong.
I did not say that.
That was implied. All right, I got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Next question is from Michelle. She's asking folders for templates and third-party email integration.
Email templates?
Yeah, folders in that section. So
oh yeah, so we addressed that. 3 weeks out, folders for emails.
3 weeks out, okay. And
and then third-party email integration. Which third parties?
Google, Outlook, Gmail, Outlook. Are we going to do a full email integration at some point?
Sorry. When you talk to, sorry, I'm an engineer. So when you tell me third-party email integrations, I'd be like, SMTP, anybody? So you gotta be more expansive. Yeah, full integrations with those, absolutely. Q2, Q3. So just so everybody is aware, there are very few ideas that we dislike. But the only thing that holds us back from doing all of them overnight is just hiring. So this quarter is mainly for us about hiring. So we have 40 engineers that we're trying to onboard and add. And I will tell you, it is incredibly hard to hire that many people, especially incredibly talented people. And so for us, that's really what we're heads down on. We'll put out a lot of features, a lot of enhancements this quarter, but behind the scenes, most of my time and energy and most of the product managers, in fact, even all of the dev leads are all heads down on hiring and expanding their teams. We hope to have about 20 people through the door by the end of this quarter and the additional 20 the next quarter. So that email integration, for example, is a good example of something that simply hinges on how fast can I get another 20 engineers through the door. So the second that happens, there'll be enough people to work on that because it is something we want to do. It just depends on how fast we can hire.
Gotcha.
And then there's a second part to her question, and she's asking multiple contacts attached to an opportunity, multiple emails and phone numbers for a contact.
This is again a star item. Multiple phone numbers and multiple emails on a contact record is definitely on the roadmap because we saw it, we discussed it. I mean, right now, the way the system is set up, you can have multiple opportunities for the same contact, but you can't have multiple contacts for the same opportunity. If you could just touch upon why do you want it? Like, why do you want to associate multiple contacts to the same opportunity?
Yeah, sure. So essentially we have clients who, if a good example would be, real estate maybe, or property management type of acquisition. So a lot of times you're dealing with a group of owners that own that home. And so if they need to reach out and have, maybe 4 different parties that are attached to that opportunity that they're then, communicating with all of that group at the same time. So that's why.
And do all of these contacts that you want to put in a group and sort of communicate with them together, do all of these contacts belong to the same company?
No, not necessarily.
Got it. Because
it would be this. They would all be users within the same location, though. Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. So this is like a team effort. It's like, all right, everybody on this team, like the blue team, is going to work this opportunity. Is that right? Or does it vary often? Like, are you gonna, are you gonna always give the same 3 people on the same opportunity, or is it just going to be random all the time?
Well, no, more likely what you're describing there is true.
Yeah, like a team.
But the idea being who's the lead, right? There's multiple contacts of that lead because they're all owners of that property that you're trying to close that sale, that deal on.
Okay, so now on our side, is it the visibility piece is easy, right? So I'm part of Team Blue, and so as a result, I can see, and so can these other 2 people, let's say that I'm working with, they can see this opportunity. But as far as tasks, notifications on chat, like who gets what, when, where, why?
Yeah, I'm not talking about the internal team. I'm talking about the
contact
stuff, the opportunity.
Yeah,
not
Sean.
users.
Yeah, Sean.
Not
I think Michelle's talking about like the business. So like in our line of work too, we've got tons of different business owners that like we might be working with like 3 people in that business, and we need to stay in contact with all of those people.
Got it. So actually, isn't this where traditional CRMs have this idea of a company, and then people work for a company, and then the company's assigned for the opportunity? Isn't that the actual solution?
Exactly, but with situations where there's not necessarily a business in place, where like maybe more of a familial relationship. So for like
but some kind. But basically, there's a container that the people are related to. Yeah, this is already on the roadmap for Glenn.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why Sean.
I just wanted to jump in before Glenn started going crazy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a heart attack over here. Thank you.
Yeah,
and that's why I clarified that. And I think Michelle was mentioning something that all of these people may or may not belong to the same company. So even if we create the company object, what he's really looking for is actually like a group chat.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you.
Like they might belong to different companies. Like you cannot put all these contacts under the same company because they don't belong to the same company, but you still want to keep them together in a conversation. So it's a tricky problem
like
to
a
solve.
Google group.
Yeah, Michelle, can you find an example in the real world where that's done well? And who's the right product manager for that? Shaw?
Yeah, it is Shaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a good example. I think Scipio does this, where you can do group messaging.
Yeah, I have a use
perfect. Write that down.
Thanks, Robin.
Yep.
I have a situation. Maybe somebody, we could sidebar this thing, but so I have a customer I'm onboarding now that like deals with like say the people who run a whole city, like the city of Allentown, Pennsylvania. So we've got multiple contacts, right? We have buyers, we have fleet people, we have service people, we have all kinds of contacts and people. I'm just really don't know how to manage that today. Inside what we have. I mean, because they all have multiple phone. They also, in many cases, have the same phone number. They're just extensions, right? Extension 26 is this person. Extension 30 is this person. I just don't know how to manage this. It's really, maybe you can take it offline, or Shivam or somebody can help me out with this thing.
Shanawaz is your guy. He's our product manager for the CRM product.
So shoot me a contact. Yeah, shoot me his email or his schedule time with him. I just don't know. As I am on board these people, I just don't know how to manage this, frankly.
Hey, I have a use case for it, Sean. So my wife's a wedding planner, and she wants to do group text with the bride and the groom, or the groom and the groomsman, or the bride and the bridesmaid, or the mom, or whatever. So having those separate segments in different group chats to be able to text, kind of like iMessage does, but just inside of the CRM. So that's another use case.
Can you create group chats on SMS on iPhone?
Yeah, you can.
Got it. Then probably there's a way for us to do it as well.
Yeah, you can absolutely do it. The Twilio even has a whole way to do it, how to group it.
You got it.
Awesome.
Just a feature we need to implement.
Next question we have is from Patrick. He's asking, Shivam, any update on the one folders and search bar in the emails? And then 2, the chat widget powered by is still available to locations instead of agencies.
Yeah, so that is my item, the emails. So emails, as I already discussed, 3 weeks out, we should have the search and folders on emails in 3 weeks. So chat widget, can you help me understand? Can you please elaborate on that? What that means? Chat widget.
Yeah. So the chat widget that we have, NASA, it has a field which is powered by, and
it is on the location level. So
yes,
is the request to have that only on the agency and not on the location? Is that the request?
Basically don't allow location to change this setting over here, which is acknowledgement settings. Nope.
In the widget settings.
Widget window. Yeah, powered by. So this should not be modifiable by the location user.
Got it. So is that right, Patrick? Is that what you want?
That is exactly what I want. Yes, thanks.
I remember. Okay, so I requested this change. This change got executed. It was in development. It was QA approved. Patrick, are you 100% sure? Because we limited this feature to agency admins and agency users only.
I just don't see the purpose of a location having to use a chat if we're selling the chat as a feature. And
no. What I'm saying is the fix that you're looking for, I think the fix is already made. Are your clients, like location admins or location users, able to see this option still?
Yes.
Okay. Then now, so that is something we can double check. And by the way, it already went into development, and I think it went into QA. We just need to trace that, what happened after that.
Right. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Awesome. Next question is from Stephanie. Are we able to turn off the automatic new client email? We have our own process that we do before we want to provide the login.
Stephanie, that is definitely something that we are planning to change, but you'll have to give me some time. The reason that we had to put in that notification is because, and I think, this is the bias that we deal with. Everyone on the call, all of you are pro users. You know how to do your SaaS thing. The client comes in, you do your thing, you notify them properly. The thing is, we have signed on a lot of SaaS agencies who might not be as technically comfortable as all of you. And they were making a lot of mistakes. We were constantly being run down by support tickets. My client signed up, never got an email. How do I send my client the password and stuff like that? So we just automate it. We will allow you an option to turn it on or off, and also to customize some email branding. In fact, I have already met some of you regarding the same issue. I have the feedback collected. Give us 2 months, and you will have that kind of customization at the agency level.
Hey, Shivam, just a quick follow-up. With the customization options you just shared, they sound awesome. Would you be able to add in maybe send email in 24 hours or X number of days or hours maybe?
This is the first time it's been recommended. I'll just make a note of it. Okay, so far this was the solution for all kind of client communications. User changes we want to change the password, user signs up for your SaaS, they default on the payment, their payment is successful, all of these notifications, client notifications that we have built. We will allow you to customize the header, footer, logo. There is going to be a standard piece of text which you cannot change, which will look something like, hey, your invoice payment for X dollars has failed. Please head over to this link to add a new card. This you won't be able to change, but the introduction and sort of the follow-up paragraph, you can customize both of those. And you can customize the layout, the colors, the background, basically the theming of it. So this is what I was planning. send notification after X hours or X days was not part of the spec, but I'll just list it down. Maybe we can change the spec right now. We can definitely consider that.
Shivam, why not just give us, like, in the customer when we add a new user to the system, like a checkbox and a button, and just say send credentials to user? I mean, just put a button there. We can just send it when we want to, as opposed to triggering it automatically from setting up the customer.
No, that's what I said, right? Like, we will give you that control. You can opt in, or you can control if these emails go out or not. And even if these emails go out, you will be able to customize them.
Okay.
Perfect. Next question is from Brian. Can we get the functionality in the two-step order form to embed the calendar widget in step 2?
Yes. Yeah, this has to be added to the roadmap, and I need to follow up on that. And of course, we are waiting for the new resources to join the team, and then we can get this rolling.
Awesome.
I'm taking this up.
Awesome. Thanks, NASA. Next question is from, did someone say something?
Yeah, so regarding the, this is Beyond, regarding the chat widget question we had earlier, Shivam, if someone logs in as a user, as a location user into their account, the powered by field is not visible. It's only visible to admin users.
Location admins.
No, agency admins. It's not.
Yeah,
visible.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, okay, so the release went out. Thank you for confirming that. So location admins and location users should not be able to fiddle with the powered by field. Only agency admins and agency users will see that field, will be able to modify that field or turn it on or off.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Awesome. Next question we have is from Mary Sue. Appreciate an update on calendar improvements, specifically recurring appointments.
That's a short one. Who's not here today. But I did hear from him.
I did confirm, by the way.
There you go.
Just for with, well, actually, I just confirmed. The reason Shaw's not here is he's actually working an important issue with a customer. So just not to rag on him. So go ahead, Chase.
And we did see the roadmap for calendars. In fact, the new UI for calendars actually looks like it's better than any
what is that question? Because is that answered? Is it on the new design, Shivam?
The recurring events, that's something I don't remember.
Okay.
Like, I remember the other stuff, how the team assignment is very simple, how like one-click booking.
Oh, actually, Shaw just popped in, I think. Shaw, are you here?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Someone's asking about timeline on recurring events.
Recurring events as of today is on the Q2 roadmap. And again, so it will vary, but then at least the earliest and the most optimistic is Q2, end of Q2.
Awesome.
Shivam just mentioned a slick new something with calendars. Anyway, we can get a sneak peek.
Of course. Do you want to do it now or towards the end of the call?
Let's do it.
All right, sure. Let me just
also super curious about the group booking too, if that's coming up as well.
Group booking, meaning the ability to add guests?
Like it can book, it'll check 2 different calendars and book multiple people on that event at the same time.
Yeah, collective booking. That you mean.
Yeah, collective booking. Yep.
Yep.
Hey, Chase or Sean, is there speaking of roadmap, is there a way we can access roadmap ideas somewhere?
So we had a really great road mapping session over the last couple of weeks. And what was fantastic is all the product managers showed up with their roadmaps, but they all creatively did their own thing, all of which was good and none of which was bad. But what we're doing is we're going to have the roadmaps all put into one system. So that way, with the idea of sharing those with you directly, so people know not only, so that way you know what's coming up and when it's coming up. So we actually have that being worked on right now. And my hope is we could get it out something either probably next week, if I had to guess. But we're going to put all of it in ClickUp, I believe. But we're a little, everybody, well, not everybody, myself, Robin, and Barin are in Dallas this week, so we're a little out of pocket at the end of this week. So I'll know more next week.
Yeah, it's a great idea not to bug you guys with all these roadmap questions all the time. Thanks,
no, I
guys.
think it's awesome, and it helps us too. And so yeah, I'm all for it. In fact, we didn't actually even have a formal road mapping process until this quarter, outside of us sort of meeting collectively, coming up with a list on the fly and just kind of going for it. So it was really great to go through. But first time through, you're always going to run into some bumps. But the good news was the biggest bump we ran into was just different formatting. All the ideas were fantastic. They're all tied to some really good usage KPIs. So I think we'll have something out for everybody to take a look at soon enough. Sorry, Shah, go for it.
All right, so I've just put like the release notes out in advance for people who are looking to really understand what's changed. But at a high level, just walking you through what we've done is we've just consolidated like all those different small little models that were floating around and brought them under one umbrella. And this one model, which is going to be universal to all your booking appointment flow, so to speak. So here you could just search by name, email, phone, and again, this is the change really. So instead of giving you this huge form up front where you sort of put in the name and sometimes accidentally override an already existing contact record, we are actually asking you specifically on whether or not you want to choose a specific person from the contact list, or you want to add someone from the contact list. And again, say if you decide to pick one contact, we'll take you into the booking flow where everything is grouped by by the different calendar teams. So we're going to be soon calling it groups now, but then yes, that's the idea. And there won't be any concept, but that's for later. There won't be any concept of like Teams calendar or like normal unassigned calendar. We're going to merge that. So that's still underway, but this is more like a precursor to all of that, where all of these things will be grouped and your calendars will appear here. And once you choose the calendars, here we don't ask you for choosing a round robin or anything for that matter. We just straight take you to default, and default is nothing but the settings that you have at the calendar level. And then here we give you the ability to sort of pick and choose any time zone that you'd like, besides the one that is sort of pre-selected at the location level. And you can sort of decide to do and set the appointment in any booking time zone that you prefer. And here we are giving you an oversight on the duration of the slots and sort of giving you various slots that are available. And besides that, the new addition that gets unlocked with this is the ability to book custom time. So you can choose any time where the appointment starts and the time it ends. It overrides everything. It doesn't pay heed to all the settings that you have at the calendar settings stage. And then the appointment title gets pre-selected here. So if you have an appointment title sort of keyed in at the on the calendar settings, then it'll appear here. Then we have location, so you can choose between default and custom. So custom, depending on what you have at the team level. So if all the team members or one of the team members have one of these integrations set, it will present you with these options. If they don't have anything, then we have a rule that will just give you the option to choose custom, and you can put in whatever. And right here, so this is something which you're just ironing out a little bit. So when you're booking the appointment, you'll only get two options, confirmed and unconfirmed. These options will only appear in the edit flow or the reschedule flow for that matter. And here you see the contact detail. And then if you want, you can just head over to the contact detail page, which just opens up, and make edits if you need to. And you can just sort of, this is the contact detail page of this person. Let's add some data, save. It won't instantly reflect there. You'll have to exit, but then, that's the idea. And you hit the schedule appointment button here. This is one. The other interesting thing is now we are really asking you for what is it that you're really trying to do when you drag a slot on this calendar view. We're asking you whether the drag that you're about to make, is that an appointment or is that a blocked off time? If it's an appointment, you're navigated to the same book appointment model. But if it's not, then it will take you to a block time modal, where you have the ability to sort of put in whatever title you'd like. You can put in the description, and you can even change the start and end time with the time zone if you prefer.
Nice.
And yeah, so that's largely what it is. And this will reflect pretty much everywhere. Like here, if you hit this button, it comes up. If you head over to the contacts page, the same model pops in, and it helps us also on the development side. So if we were to make any further changes, we won't have to go to like 20 different places and make these changes just to realize that we missed out on one model. So this is much more scalable, and we will be adding. So again, we're creating provision to sort of add multiple people. So this white space you see here is gonna just kind of get scaled into all of those features that are underway. So that's pretty much it, I suppose, unless I missed out anything. Yeah, and there are a lot of these tiny little things which I just put in to the Zoom chat. So if you want, you can sort of refer to that as well.
Bravo, that is awesome. I'm excited.
Good job. Yeah.
Did you mention the recurring thing? I don't know if you mentioned that part, or the collective booking timeline.
Yeah, those are different projects. So collective is not on the, I mean, it's not on the Q2 roadmap. We have not queued it up yet, but for the recurring, we do have that on the roadmap. It's just a matter of like, we just putting the resources behind it, and that's scheduled to happen in Q2, most possible.
Now, did anybody not see, or on the updates here, was this confusing to anybody?
Yet.
Well, what I heard him saying is I'd have to set my own personal calendar limitations on my profile, and that's being pulled into here, which is different.
No, you don't have to. So I probably did not make that very clear. So these settings that you do right here, these settings are going to just get carried over into the default of everything that you see on that model. So if you've set like an appointment title here, so this will get pre-populated if you decide to choose that calendar on that model. So this calendar's name is local test team. So if I pick local test team in that model, and this pre-populates, and basically like these options also get available to you, that, okay, these are the folks that you have on this calendar. You can just pick between.
When you go into the modal, it'll reflect the settings that you set up for the calendar. That's what he's trying to say.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Which is, it is weird today. So this did look.
Yeah. So why I'm pushing on this is because this is Shah and his team going through and trying very hard to simplify the calendar for everyone. And I believe Shah get rid of also the whole idea of team calendars versus not team calendars, sort of all in one fell swoop. Is that correct?
Yeah, certainly, but not with this release though. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, right. But ultimately make the booking modal way easier for everybody to understand and way simpler. And so I just want to make sure that this is a great time for someone to raise their hand and say, no, this is confusing as heck. Or if not, I'm also thrilled if it's simpler, because that was the mission.
I'll raise my hand. In this is just a question. So before, you have to select a time zone, or you have to select a time, and it's always based on your location's time zone first. Is this dropdown going to prioritize, or is it going to be the dropdown for the client's time zone?
No, it's just an accessibility feature. So if you have a virtual assistant sort of sitting in the Philippines, and he prefers to sort of set the time in his time zone. So if this dude is in Philippines and he wants to schedule the appointment for a certain date and time as per the Filipino time zone, then he can do that. But for most people, it's just an additional benefit. You won't have to toggle with it at all. It just kind of pulls up your location time zone by default, and it presents it right here.
Yeah, but so I guess what I'm saying is, so right now, when you're going to book a time and you're in the contact details, the times that you click on the dropdown, it pulls in times based on the location's time zone first. So right. If you're booking with somebody on the phone and they're in a different time zone than you have to select and guess a dropdown, because it's based on your time zone first, and then it'll show below, this is contact time zone time slot.
No, not really. So what you do is if you're on the phone with someone, you're asking for the time zone. So if the person is in, say, like in this time zone, then you just ask him if you're available between these hours.
Okay, so this will be based on the contact's time zone this time, because that's not.
Well, it's based on it's based on any time zone you choose. So by default, it's going to be the location, which, by the way, for the record, is 99% of the time what people do. Right? You generally book people for a place in which they are from a time zone perspective. That's like 95% of bookings, right? Now, if you're on the, but if that's not the case, you're so I'm in, I'm talking to somebody in LA and I'm booking them for somebody in New York. You're like, oh, cool. Oh, you're in LA? Great. So you just change the time zone to the time zone you want to see, right?
But what if there are 3 contacts on this calendar appointment that are in 3 different time zones?
Does that work? Can you book 3 people on an appointment right now?
Not today.
No, well, so that question is irrelevant.
Okay, I thought we're making headway here.
I have like another.
No. So this is the problem where, so we get into this all the time, right? So people will say, so they'll have a VA in, in the classic case is always, I have my VA in the Philippines booking a person from Los Angeles on a call with my salesperson in New York, right? So at the end of the day, what we want to make sure is that the person I'm booking, we're telling them on the phone their time zone, because that's all they care about and all they know, right? If they say, yeah, I'd love to meet with them at 10 a.m., they very specifically mean 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. They don't mean 1 o'clock New York time, right? 10, 11, 12, 1, right? So in this case, the idea here is that you're able to select the time zone that you want to see relative to the thing you're booking, so that if you're speaking to someone in that particular time zone, you're telling them times that are relative to them. That was the idea.
So to be clear, then currently in the appointment modal, like in the contact profile on the right-hand side, they don't match, and that's what's confusing. Going forward, they will.
Correct.
match.
So today, I think, Shaw, right now, all that happens there is it shows you times relative to the location's time zone only, correct?
Right. Yeah, exactly. The slot is the location time zone, and then the contact.
Exactly. And so the idea here is it may default to the location time zone, which I still think is the right default, but it allows you optionality to switch it if you know that that's not the case.
Right, but what you just showed us, that modal has the capability of having multiple contacts created when you want to create the appointment. And the point I'm trying to make is that they don't necessarily. Well, that's
is that true?
On the right side, he said you have multiple contacts there.
Not yet.
How do you add multiple contacts to that list?
Did I misunderstand? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. It's not part of this release, but eventually I was just trying to just highlight the fact that this thing won't change as often as you would imagine, because again, I was just highlighting the fact that.
Okay. I see where you went with that one. Yeah. So sorry, my bad. Yeah. So Shaw also tried to future-proof this design to take into account all of these other use cases that we know are coming, which is multiple contact booking, group booking, recurring, all of that. The idea is this is like a one-time change. This modal does not continue to change out from under you as we move forward.
No, got it. Makes sense. Okay.
But the issue that we actually addressed with this release, hopefully, is to make it simpler to book for people in time zones. That was the gist. All right, Mary Sue, you raise your hand on this.
Yes, my question I have totally forgotten, so you can pass me.
Cool, awesome, Anna. Moving on. Oh no, here, you want to keep that up, Shock? Anna, do you have a question on this?
Of course. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so one of the issues is this going to be like a version 3? Are we going to be able to export from an older calendar and import all the appointments into this new calendar?
So
because if I have to manually create this stuff again, I'm going to kill myself.
No. Just don't worry. So, do you understand her question, Shaw?
Yes. So basically, when there's no versioning going on here, so it will be made available to everyone. So if you think that this is missing out on a use case, then you go to labs and you turn this off. But for the most part, there's no version.
So the idea here, Anna, is you wake up tomorrow and boom, ta-da! This is the calendar. We're done here. No V2s, no V3s, no teams, no singles. Calendar, done, moving on. That's it. No conversion, no migration. That's it. This is the calendar interface.
Okay, so but for version 1, if I wanted to get to version 2, I would have to go and recreate everything in version 2.
So back in the day, yeah. So what we did originally is we were like, okay, we've got this calendar system that people like, but we also need to have this team calendar system. And so they kind of broke it like that, right? And this was our going back and saying, wait, that's too confusing for people. We need to make one interface that rules them all and just make one calendar setup across the board. So we looked at Calendly and HubSpot and everybody else. And this is basically an amalgamation of a one-size-fits-all calendar setup.
Okay, so I still have one client who's in version 1, and I don't want to change them because it's a dental client and it's thousands of appointments.
Yeah. Perfect.
So I should wait for this, and then I have to go create those 1,000 appointments again.
No, you do not have to create a darn thing. Every appointment in the system will magically still be there.
Even version 1.
Nothing. Don't touch anything.
I love
it all
nothing.
just works.
Nothing works.
Nothing
for me
all
perfectly.
Works. Yes.
Yay, Shaw.
That was the whole point of this release.
Shaw, you're my hero. I love it.
And then on top of it, what Shaw did, which I think is phenomenal, is the labs feature allows you to say, nope, I hate this, or I think you guys missed something. Turn this stupid thing off and take me back to where I was because I'm missing something.
And usually we never hate anything. It's the client who literally loses their mind. They're like,
I know.
Yesterday it worked, and now I can't do anything.
I am aware.
I'm going to come over to your office and hold your hand through this calendar change, you know?
Exactly.
So perfect. Thank you.
All right. So that's a good one. Mike and Paige, you got one on this?
My only question is, I'm assuming then this is going to be set up eventually to be able to do yellow class, for example, where you can book multiple people for yellow class, stuff like that.
Yes,
exactly.
So the real meal deal here, right, is this is Shaw's, this quarter, I like to call slowing down to speed up. So across the board, what's happening is we're putting in all these underpinnings that allow us to then leapfrog into all of these use cases. We knew the calendar setup in general was kind of clunky. And by breaking it into 2, it created a lot of confusion for people. And so Shaw did the hard work of sitting down and saying, okay, wait. What does it look like out in the real world? How do other people do this? How do they take into account all these use cases? And then how do I fix what we have, but also make sure it's ready for these other big use cases that are coming up? And that was the idea with this release. And then on top of back into hiring, I got to give him another 3 engineers so that they can start just on all of the different calendar amalgamation features to come. But I'm not worried about that. We'll get there shortly. What I care about more than anything is that people look at this calendar booking interface and say, okay, I get how to book an appointment. It seems reasonably straightforward to me. I think my clients could even probably figure it out. That's what we're going for here.
Super exciting. When's the release?
Most probably it'll be in your accounts by tomorrow.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's very close. It's been close since since past.
This calendar stuff tomorrow?
Yeah, this is going go like tomorrow.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
In labs, yes?
Yeah, it'll be enabled for everyone. But yeah, of course, you don't have to do and go and sort of specifically turn it on your accounts. It'll just be available to everyone out of the box.
So is this going to be like if I go into team calendar to create a new calendar now, is this the modal will be active there? Is that kind of what you're saying? What's going to happen tomorrow?
No,
if I'm booking all calendars, all appointments that you have, all of them are going to follow this model. Like even in an existing appointment, if you go to edit it, this is how it will look.
Okay. Right. And I was just trying to open up my account. I don't know what's wrong, but I just wanted to tell you, like basically what's happened is we just changed the form. Like, when you actually just use that huge form to be able to book the appointment, that form, you just take in different fields and place them in a very coherent way. That's all that's changed. Nothing has changed on the calendar setup yet. So
yeah, what baby steps, new, easier modal. That's it. Does everyone like the new modal? That's all we're going for. And then once we get that signed off on, we'll make the next step, because we know that these can have big impacts on people, and we want to be very cautious about disrupting your business.
Right.
Okay.
And
all right. Thank you, Shah, for being willing to put yourself up to the crowd, to the mob. But there's a ton of other questions, so we'll keep rolling. Nico,
yes.
What's up?
Next one is the ability to do quizzes from Micah.
This is quizzes on membership, I assume.
A membership or just a general form that has the quiz ability.
Okay, so quiz for forms. Probably
that is in the in forms, the quizzes. It's in the road mapping stage right now. So again, we are waiting for the resources to join, and we need to get started on that. So it is probably late Q2 is when realistically we can look at it.
Yeah, but quizzes for memberships, that's going to be much earlier. So that's an item for Q1 as part of assessment. So yeah, memberships, it'll drop sooner.
Awesome. And there's a part 2 that there's membership certifications / assessments. Is that in the same thing?
Yes. So assessments are going to include like certifications, quizzes, the grading system. Like, you can choose automatic grading versus manual grading, where the instructor grades the learners. Yeah. So all of that is put together in a single product area called assessment.
Hey, let me follow up real quick, Shivam. I'm using 123 Form Builder for a client right now because we can't do quiz stuff yet here. Will you have rules where we can set up if they get less than 80%, it goes to this URL. If it gets higher than 80, they get a certificate or forward to next URL kind of stuff?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think these qualification rules, they already exist for surveys, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, they do have conditional logic. I guess you could add the logic into scoring as well, perhaps. Okay.
Yeah. Although we do need to flush that out. I mean, that actually is just a hiring maneuver as well. We just need to expand the forms team. So I would say personally that if I think about like true quiz functionality, it's Q3, Q4. And again, it's just off the back of getting enough people in-house. I know what you're talking about on the quiz stuff. I've seen that before. Can you sort of create it today? Absolutely. But we want to make it first class and make it easy. And that'll be just something that probably comes in the back half of the year.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, I'm just using the embedding the 123 contact form builder stuff. I'm just embedding those onto websites. So
yeah, I would say our key, our key items really what I personally want to see out of the first, call it 2 quarters of the year is, we definitely want to add blogging natively. We're adding I want the social media posting will come up to sort of industry standard, but a lot of the funnel speed will come up. The websites will follow. The WordPress hosting will go live. But really thinking about the roadmap in general, it's starting to become more about enhancements than it is about big new features. Like really an upgrade on the CRM is the big focus for me as well, making sure that the CRM is first class. And making sure that we exit, call it Q2, with the team in place and the major enhancements done, so that as we go into the back half of the year, we've got a lot of momentum and we can chew through both new features, but also just enhancements. Because do we have forms? Yes, but the quizzes is a great addition to it. And there are 100 other examples of those. But I think we're going to be in a very phenomenal place very soon, because with the hiring that we're doing, I mean, just so everyone's aware, I mean, we're putting money to good work. We're adding 150 team members this year. And so 40 in engineering, and then most of the balance will be in customer success and customer support. So we're investing very heavily in the team. And that's what's going to allow us to continue that momentum. But so don't worry, we have some pretty phenomenal plans for the year, but this quarter especially will be probably our slowest, just because of the fact that we need those additional team members in place. And we're putting a lot of investment in the back end and things that you just don't really see, like a lot of speed. I'll put a video out today on speed improvements that got launched today, but some of these things are very hard to show. But don't worry, you're in a good spot. We're going to do some pretty phenomenal things. Oh, and then the other thing I'm thematically looking at this year a lot is a lot more easy buttons. So allowing you guys to build libraries of content that you can then push out on a continual basis for down to your customers. Think things like social media posting, right? If you have, a library of plumbing ads, and you want to push it out to 10 plumbers and have it automatically post and, every single week or every single couple days, whatever it is, so you can create a recurring revenue source around that, really trying to focus on the type of easy button use cases more than just, trick new features. So that's really kind of where our head is at for the year.
That's great. That's plus it'll, I don't have to tell you this, Sean, it's going to reduce your load on support, when things work easier, UI's cleaner, all those kind of things.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, and what we've, it's what we find, right, is it's always a perceptional battle because, if you ask people if they like the choice of what peanut butter to buy when they go to the grocery store, everyone says yes. But then you put them on a real shopping trip and they get, they're at 45 minutes into the trip and they get to the peanut butter aisle and there's 60 freaking choices. They're like, for God's sakes, I don't want to sit here and look at all these. I just want chunky or smooth. Let's get moving. So it's this perception, and the same thing applies to software. Most people want just the easiest possible solution, but don't ask them for that if that's true. But just put them in the store and watch their actions. I mean, that's why Trader Joe's exists.
It's shiny object syndrome. I mean, when you talk about new features, everybody goes, yeah. And the reality is 1% maybe will use it ever. And then you guys have to support it, and it just becomes a nightmare.
Absolutely. Well, don't worry. That's why we have really great product managers who keep me from constantly dreaming about ever bigger, brighter features. But but I also run the company. So there'll always be a balance of some big, exciting new shiny objects. Don't you worry.
I'm just glad to hear you going back, you're kind of circling back. And
Well, we're investing for scale, and it's insane what really goes on at the end of the day. What you learn very quickly is the thing that got you here won't get you there, and so you've got to rethink a lot of your infrastructure pieces and all that. And we're hiring some exceptionally talented individuals. It's the other thing. We're interviewing for VP of engineering right now. We're talking to a guy who you may not have heard of this company, but it's called PayTM. It's filed for IPO. It's got a $25 billion valuation, and he's one of their top engineering talents. So we're really trying to bring in also just insanely smart people who've also been through the journey before, so that when they come in the door, they're giving us the playbook, and because they've already been there. So we're doing a lot of that kind of stuff, which I think will pay huge dividends, even if you may not notice it, in the form of a new feature.
Yeah. Well, 100%. Good. Sounds like you got a good balance. Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
I work for a software company that did that. They built so much stuff in the software. Then they got to a point when they got a lot of customers, they were overwhelmed. They couldn't even support the product anymore. It just became a nightmare. It's easy for that to happen. But anyway, definitely. I'm glad to hear that stuff's good.
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely. All right, where are we going next, Nico?
Next one is Kristen, and she's asking possible cold outreach white label or multiple domains for email sending, not using Mailgun.
Yeah. Do you need me to elaborate? I kind of figured you guys wouldn't be doing any sort of cold outreach stuff, but I did just sort of want to cover my bases there. We're looking at other options for the cold outreach side, but I know that you guys were in talks of maybe possibly doing multiple domains in one account for email sending to separate the cold and the warm. I was just curious if you had any update.
I don't see any reason for us not to do that. So one of the things we're doing right now is we're going to be hosting email, like we're now going to start hosting Twilio. And most of that's just an ease of use kind of thing to make life easier for people. But I don't see any reason not to allow people to do multiple domains. I'm trying to think. Yeah, go ahead, Shivam. What do you got on that?
Yeah, so the way I was approaching this, and by the way, good time to discuss this because we are still in the product spec stage. So a person walks in to high level, the email already works. And it's going to be like the default white label domain, something like account sender or lead connector, whatever. We'll figure that out. It's going to be a gray label domain. Now, if you want to buy your own domain, either you can point your existing domain to us and we will start using that, or maybe in future we will allow you to just purchase domains directly within the app. Now the next step, you want to focus on deliverability, so you need static IPs. We will give you the ability to sort of purchase static IPs and just have a dedicated IP set up for email. This is the way we were thinking about the problem. But I get your point. You want to separate out specific domains for your daily communication, and when you're sending to a known list where you expect the open rates to be high, and then you want a separate domain for cold outreach. Like that's what you're asking for, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The problem is, how will the system know what is cold outreach versus what is a? I mean, what we could do is all the manual emails could go to one domain, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But when a person passes through a workflow, or when you send like a newsletter or something, how does the system decide if this was sent to a cold list or if this was to a known audience? So it's a warm list. Like, any thoughts about that?
Could assign an email in the workflow settings, assign the email domain, because similar use case for us. We have different advertising strategies, and we want everything in our advertising strategy to match, including the domain. Because if I'm following up with an advertising via a brand and the domain matches the brand, it's just lower friction and everything matches, and there for cold traffic I get much more response that way. But I'm running multiple campaigns, multiple advertising strategies for a single client, for some of the bigger clients we work with. So I would love it if I could have 4 different email domains, one for each campaign, and then assign them at the workflow level for those automated follow-ups to a new lead that's generated.
I mean, the way it works. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm just saying I agree on the workflow level.
Got it. So this will require you to take some action, and you need to tell us on each and every workflow which domain to follow and whether it is cold or warm. Like, you will need to make that extra effort on like when you design each and every workflow. The problem is most people won't take action, and the segregation of warm versus cold domains will not work for the majority. Like, majority won't even understand what this is for. So I mean, that's the only downside that I'm seeing right now. Like, I'm just going to take some notes. Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, right now, what we have to do, like in their scenario, is set up 4 different locations, because many of us are doing this for our clients. Like, I even have to set up different locations for when I'm running massive Facebook ads for a dentist. So I have whatever their name is, Facebook ads, whatever their name is, cold list, whatever their name is, warm list. So I have to use 4 locations, which means I have to get a lot of intercommunication happening through the workflows to the other locations. Does that make sense?
I don't think. Okay, so Anna, I think from a technical perspective, it's actually very quite easy to solve for. Let you add 4 domains, choose the domain that you're going to do. What happens? What I think is going to very realistically happen, and by the way, happens every day with Mailgun and everybody else, is people just burn themselves. They're like, oh, yeehaw, bought a list online, send out, boom. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're now kicked off the system. We're never going to allow you to send email again, because if we do, our upstream partner, SendGrid or Mailgun or anybody else, is going to kick us off. So sorry, you're blacklisted. Oh, no, but I made a mistake and I didn't set it up right. Nope, sorry, don't care, you're done. That's exactly what's going to end up happening here. And then people are going to get mad at us about it.
But that's what
right
happens
now,
already.
They have to be mad at Mailgun. Right. Well, except they're mad at Mailgun.
That's what I mean. The idiots are idiots already and get penalized, right? But for those of us, we have to have 4 different locations, at least for every client, in order to work things properly so that something mistaken doesn't happen.
Now, when you do cold email, are you using, if I look at most cold email tools, what they do is they make you use like an Outlook account or a Gmail account, so that way you just burn your Gmail account? That's really what they do most of the time. So do you use Mailgun for it?
Right, because they're idiots. Yeah, no, I don't use Mailgun.
What do you use for your
SMTP? I just use real email addresses.
Like, but do you use like an SMTP provider, or what do you? Who actually sends the email?
The host provider. But I don't send 4,000 emails a day either.
Right. So I mean, Shivam, what I think is going to happen here is
this is the thing, is that if you could do this with tagging, right?
Yeah.
So cold is a blue tag and warm is a red tag or whatever. But if you know what I would do is I would make you label the domain as cold or warm traffic. I like that.
That's the smartest way to do that. I think that is the right answer. People will still burn themselves, And then, but if you, what we'll do is if you choose
you'll
cold,
prove it's not you burning it. It's
no. Yeah, I know. That's what.
Yeah.
So for the product managers on the call who have to do this, when you choose cold, it'll be like warning, warning, warning. You're about to do something that's really bad, and you're very likely to destroy yourself and all of your entire business by doing this. Are you okay with that? And we'll just make you right. Yes, I know. I am not an idiot. Save, and then it'll be good.
Sean, on top of that, I would honestly make it like an agency. I would make it an agency switch first. That like if the SaaS user wants to use this type of feature without an agency, like that they need to contact the agency to have them turn that on, so that the agency is fully aware that like this business is trying to use cold outreach, and so that like everybody along the chain is fully aware.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at like every large cold email provider, they don't actually send an email for a very good reason. It's because 99% of their customers just go on, blast the list, destroy their Gmail account, and then boom, they're moving on. And it has no impact on the cold email software provider when they do that. That's precisely why that's done, because they just know it's like transporting dynamites. So a lot of people will blow themselves up.
And by the way, like this
That's
is actually
exactly
good.
right. The risk is on high level. The risk
Right.
is all
So
on
what
high
we
level.
need to do
So
on our
maybe
side,
this is-
right, is remove that.
Maybe
risk.
it's another bucket that they have to pay for, like HIPAA or something like that.
Maybe we do what everybody else does, which is we don't allow you to you can use SMTP, you can use Gmail, or you can use Outlook. That's it. So that way, whatever gets burned is going to get is just like everybody else. It's like every other cold email provider. That's probably the right answer. We'll warn you, but then you can just only attach it to a Gmail account or something. So that way you burn your Gmail account.
So final thoughts on this.
Yeah, that's what we were going to use anyways. So
there you go. See?
What
and then when Gmail shuts you down, then it'll be Gmail shutting you down, and then you have only yourself to blame. I'm cool with that. And then for the people that do it right and send small amounts and send email that doesn't get huge spam complaints, then they'll be fine and none the wiser. That's the right answer, Shivam. We just restrict it to those three types.
Got it. Cool. So basically for cold outreach, preferred option is going to be Gmail, Outlook, the standard providers.
Yeah, the Gmail, Outlook, or SMTP. And the first iteration of this, you should just use SMTP, because then you could do Gmail and Outlook today. So that's version 1. Version 1 is you can add multiple domains. If you're going to send cold outreach through it, it's SMTP only.
Yeah, and we'll definitely take this offline. Like this definitely makes sense for the advanced crowd over here. I just want to imagine the person who's signing up for the platform on the 97 plan, who absolutely has no clue and expects the system to just work. I mean, we'll just take this offline. Thank you for the thoughts. Gives me some direction.
Yeah,
to move forward.
but I see this. I know why it's done. I think it's one of the biggest ways that agencies market, even, and I get it. So we definitely want to support it. It's just figuring out how to do it right. But I think we got a good idea here.
Awesome. Next question is from Brian. Would it be possible to have sub-account tagging function? This would help us visually discern in the account selector or agency accounts as to what service/offers these clients are on with us. This would help with different SLAs, etc.
Sub-account tagging. So are you talking about like, and what kind of tags will these be?
Yeah. So basically, have like couple hundred active sub accounts. It would be helpful. They're kind of on 3 different, service levels with us. If I could just in my giant sub account list know as I go into, troubleshoot something for a client, know that this is, on the simplest thing, this is a level 1, tier, this is level 2, this is level 3. And that way we could actually look at our accounts based on the level of service with us, and have some bit of organization, in that way.
Got it. So have you tried using like an identifier in the address or something?
Yes, we do that. We do that to some extent already. But then it just gets, if we could do it with a tag that was only agency, it would keep it more as an internal thing for our company and out of the naming convention for the client. Of course, we could just, tag on some text to differentiate this, but then some of our clients, are using that company data as a custom field across the application, and so it gets included in that information if I go that route. Whereas a tag would hopefully be isolated at the agency level, and I could get the same thing and not confuse my clients in the process.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I'll add it to my list and see where it goes from there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for the question, Brian. Next one we have is Mary Sue, and she would appreciate an update on the social media management rollout, scheduling, and additional social channels.
So here the social media, so currently it is already live in beta with the GMB, and we are working to add other social media networks, Facebook and Instagram. Our plan is to go public live by 3rd or 4th week of February, so it is 3 to 4 weeks from now. So did I answer all the questions?
Believe so.
Does that mean
okay?
What about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, we are not sure yet. I'm not able to confirm that, or I'm not able to say whether we will put it or not.
Yeah. So sorry. So
Later.
What we mean there is, yes, absolutely, we will do LinkedIn. But Nas, you gotta read the crowd here. So you gotta be like, yes, of course we'll do LinkedIn, but no, it will not be part of version 1 because it requires additional work that we have yet to do.
And stuff. Yeah,
right.
We need to get the approvals and integration. So
when you say to someone, "I'm not sure if we're going to do that," it sounds to them like we're never going to do that. Like we dismissed LinkedIn. So we'll absolutely do all social channels. And but by the way, for the record, this is all me. I said, listen, let's start with the basics. In fact, I'd push them to get GMB out by itself. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, GMB. With scheduling, first release to everyone, and then we'll just iterate out to the infinitely from there.
Yes, and that is coming out before end of February.
Awesome. Next question is from Kristen. She's asking for a visual in reporting and at the contact level on how many times the contact has opened up the email.
Shaw.
Yeah, how many times you're trying to process that? How many times the contact opens up the email?
Yeah, so like you look at an email and it says opened times 10.
Yeah.
Tom Bristol has this add-on. His add-on will tell you if it's opened or not, which I think is great, by the way. People want to know if things are opened, but she wants to know like a count. And if we do the open indicator, we probably adding an open count probably doesn't seem too crazy.
Yeah, this is a feature in like a platform called Polymail. I don't know if you guys ever seen that.
Polymath?
And in MailChimp.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And in Constant Contact.
No. I think I know. Hold on. We already have stats on how many opens an email gets. I think she's specifically talking about an individual email. Like I sent this email to Bob. Bob specifically opened this email 10 times. I don't know if does MailChimp do that?
That's already in MailChimp, yeah.
Okay,
and that's a Polymail feature as well.
And actually you can look in the contact, let's say the contact is Sean, and I can see which emails you opened and how many times you opened and exactly when you opened.
There you go, Shaw. Copy and paste that feature.
There you go.
I'll do that.
Ooh, yeah, awesome. Next one is from James. Has the shutdown of the 297 auto account creation with Zapier Access been discussed yet?
No, but it is. Well, I mean, other than my video I put in the Facebook group yesterday and the article I dropped.
Yeah, I'm just curious since I've been with you guys obviously before even the pro plan existed, and I've always used Zapier to auto create the accounts, but clearly is there any way to figure that out for us who don't need the SaaS mode or Eliza?
No, you're killing me.
Okay.
Here's what I would hope. I would hope that if you're creating accounts dynamically using an API, that we're giving you enough value there that you're willing to pay us an extra $200 a month. That's what I'm hoping for.
Gotcha.
And actually, the billing for Twilio alone and not having to jack with it and money just zings into your account on a daily basis will pay for it more than enough.
Oh, and I forgot to say,
I'm assuming you have clients.
I would take issue with anybody not using SaaS mode also. I forgot to mention that. not charging your clients something for the use of the system is in my opinion, is a big mistake.
Oh, we do. We just package it in our core service. So we add on top of it to our service.
Well, now
And
you could
I would
just
also
add
say
more.
not breaking it out is also not something I would recommend, but that's debatable, I assume. But to Anna's point, yeah, charge more. But who knows? You'll pay an extra $200 for the API key, and then maybe you'll start using Eliza and get more value there.
Yeah. All right. I guess it is what it is.
Next question is from Brian. This one is about any update on evolved user permissions and roles. Brian, do you want to jump in and talk about this? There seems to be a lot here.
Yeah, just along the lines of using SaaS mode. Actually, we are on the Pro plan. Happy to pay for it. You guys built an incredible product. But my challenge with it is, and I brought this up a few months back, is like evolved user permissions that would allow me to control who sees my Stripe user data. There's no like super admin. And so I don't want to connect SaaS mode and bring in Stripe and give my whole support team access to our entire company financials.
Yeah, good call. Shaw?
Yeah, so we have that user permissions charter planned out. We're just waiting for that person to jump in and start working. So it's just a matter of when, and yeah, but most likely it'll happen in the next few months. So I can't commit to your timeline yet. Maybe by the next town hall.
Awesome. But it's in the works. Yeah, that would be great, because I believe in all
yeah, it's planned out.
But I just haven't been able to turn on the feature because
absolutely. Now you can see why we're so heads down on hiring, because that every item not being worked on is not being worked on just because we don't have a person to work on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm to the sales pitch you just gave publicly. I pay the $500 and don't even use any of that stuff yet, because I believe you guys
keep it up. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So user permissions, absolutely. We know it's a big deal. We know it's important, and but it is something we'll work on. I think easily in the first 2 quarters of this year. So it's just a matter of, I don't know that person's name yet, and I don't know when they're walking in the door. But as soon as they do, that's like, welcome to high level. Oh, by the way, here's the user permissions. Get started. Like, get on it. So we'll absolutely, for sure, we'll make that happen.
Awesome.
Hey, so I have a follow-up on that, Sean.
Yes, sir.
Will we ever be able to connect multiple Stripe accounts for the dashboard for the financials? So, for example, I have like 2 or 3 Stripe accounts, and I want to be able to see each one for each product.
Why do you have multiple Stripe accounts exactly?
Well, because I have multiple SaaS, so I measure each SaaS, and I just want to have the dashboard. You know what I'm saying? So like for people who have like an agency, they want to see the agency revenue plus the SaaS revenue, like what's different, you know what I'm saying, to break it out.
Gosh, I guess, okay, so here's my crazy vision on this, and I this might not work out for me, but it's just what my hopes and dreams is. I want to with the invoicing, which no one has yet asked about, that's cool, is in QA, I believe. And I would love it if we could get everyone to get to the point where you can bill all your clients for services and SaaS out of the same app. So the idea was like it would all just filter through the same Stripe account, or when we do integrate a third-party payment gateway, which is on the roadmap for this year for sure, it all flows through like one payments account. Gotcha. Is that like a pipe dream? Because I don't, just for the record, we at high level have one payments account, Uno. And so I'm just trying to figure out how we get all of you to that place, because I know it's possible. Because your use case seems like an edge case to me, but maybe I'm crazy.
Well, the reason I have it is because I want to be able to manage the multiple ones, and certain products I have partners in the deal. You know what I'm saying? So that instead of running it all through one Stripe account, I have multiple Stripe accounts based on whatever partner I have in that deal. And I just want to be able to see all the dashboards right there.
I wonder then if it's like a scenario where a super admin then becomes the better concept, because if I'm your partner in deal A, I want to be able to log in and see the financials, but you don't want partner deal B that's like over here, but then you kind of want to live above them and see all of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I do know that we do have a super admin concept on the roadmap. So I could see where that would filter up to that. So that's not a crazy idea if you look at it from that lens. So, okay, I get that use case.
Yeah, and then just be able to use Stripe Connect and have 3 different dashboards, like one on top of the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly. Now I get it. That makes total sense. Okay, cool. Well, I will definitely run that down with Shivam offline.
Okay,
Sean,
perfect.
since you mentioned it, I will trigger you. I will trigger you and say invoicing and estimating, since we talked about it in December.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Oh, NASA.
Yes. So invoicing so sometime during next week, we will put invoicing on beta. So this release is going to have one-time payments. So you can create global products in high level and attach one-time charges to that product. So for those products, you'll be able to send invoices and run the charges. So this is going to be available in beta next week. So please test it out and go to beta.gohighlevel.com and let me know if you have any comments. So if all goes well, probably within a week after that, we will be putting it in live. So that is for one-time payments, and subsequently in a couple of weeks after that, we will be putting in all the automation integrations for invoices, for failed payments, successful payments, and invoices due or overdue. For these events, we will integrate those automation triggers in the workflows. So that will be out after we put.
Wait, did you say for past due invoices?
Yeah.
Oh man, you just replaced my last SaaS company. Good job. For those of you who don't know, I am the sole creator and employee and sole janitor, or I was, of InvoiceSherpa.com. So I just love that NASA replaced me with one engineer in a couple of weeks. That it took me years to get there, but that's okay. That just shows how great of a team we have. That's phenomenal, by the way, NASA, because I happen to just know that this is a big deal for real businesses that send invoices. Their number one pet peeve, and actually it's not even like a nuisance thing. It actually puts businesses out of business every year, is that they send invoices and they don't get paid fast enough. Their bills come due and boom, they just get crunched because their vendors are like, okay, well, I'm shutting off your lights. I'm shutting off your power. I'm canceling your contract. Like I'm going to remove everything you need to operate because you're not paying me before the cash comes in from their customer, and that's it. They're done. So that's a very cool feature.
So we will have that, and once that goes live, we'll start working on the recurring payments in invoices. And by the way, we are in the beta release itself next week. We will have the taxes integrated there. So you can configure, you can name the taxes, you can configure them, and that will get automatically applied for any product that you would configure. And also there will be a capability for integrating the discounts as well. So that's going to be really, really exciting. So I can give a short demo because it's already so close to releasing. So this is our staging environment. So invoices, and you can go create a new invoice.
And does this integrate with QuickBooks Online?
Not yet. We will get there probably during Q2. But before we get there, we want to release these one-time payments, integration with the high-level automations, and then go for the recurring payments. Then we will definitely do the QuickBooks integration.
Don't you worry, Anna. I know how important that is.
I know.
Given that Invoice Sherpa was integrated with QuickBooks Online and Xero.
I like that logo.
Yeah, cool logo.
I know.
You're now from Houston.
Right there. Okay, so this is your invoice. I mean, the SMB's information is here, and this is logo from SMB, and this is a person to whom you will bill it to. You add a product. So here, when you choose a product, it is going to list down all the one-time products in the beginning and the one-time pricing. So you can choose that, and right here you can add the taxes. So whatever taxes that you have added before will start showing up here. So you can choose what you want to apply here. You can update the tax rates also in case if you want it. So just do it here. And you can also apply the discounts. So you can say, yeah, I want 23% discount. And yeah, boom, it's ready. So you just save it. There are small glitches here and there. We are still working on them.
But you're
And
going to allow us at the bottom to like add some of our own verbiage, right?
yes, so that is the
Add notes terms. Hi, this is Anna. Pay me or I'll hunt you down. I know where you live.
I totally don't do that.
I control your WordPress account.
Exactly. I put paying this invoice means that you're 100% happy with the work. So they could never win a lawsuit. So I have to have my couple of lines in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And then we'll probably eventually offer signature services on the invoice too.
Cool.
Yeah. So you will be able to send that out. So when you send it out, you are going to have an option to either send it by email and text, or only email or only text. And also we will give an option for you to test your invoices before you send it. This is an optional feature. So you can say that, okay, hey, I want to test it before sending it out. So this invoice is being sent. And once you
that's fantastic.
Sent out, it is going to deliver a text and an email. I'm just waiting for the email to arrive.
Yeah. So my crazy long-term idea here, my pipe dream is that we could take on any invoicing product out there. And so this will be a great first step because we'll just see how far off we are from this once everybody starts using it. But the way I sort of think about this is this will be kind of like by the end of this year, we'll have all the features done and we'll just pick up who we can pick up as we go along. But again, targeting every type of local business out there. And I think this couples well with scheduling as well, going back to like the yoga classes and all of that. I would love it if someday, the yoga studio could run their whole business through High Level, or more importantly, your version thereof. That's really the kind of end target for this feature set.
Sean, this is a really, really great feature set. NASA, awesome, man.
If a customer doesn't pay and the invoice goes over, is there a mechanism to pause their account?
Oh, you're talking about
write a workflow.
No. So there's two. Glenn is the most interesting dude because he'll jump in with a really valid use case, but in the middle of a totally different feature. So if I understand it, Glenn, you're really talking about if I don't pay my SaaS bill, does it pause my account, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's actually being taken care of by the SaaS team specifically. And that actually will, and Shivam can tell you exactly what the date is, but that's like sometime this quarter. By the end of the quarter, that I expect that to be done. This specifically is like, I sold you, what did I sell you? Some widgets or whatever, and I'm invoicing you on those widgets, and now you haven't paid for those widgets, but those widgets are not SaaS related at all. It's a normal, traditional, everyday invoice. And so in that regard, yes, you will be able to trigger off the non-payment by days, and then you'll be able to take an action. And an action would be like sending me a text or an email to remind me that I need to pay you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, is it tied to like Dunning? You could have reminders to set up.
Yeah. And as the guy who wrote Invoice Sherpa and had 1,000 small business customers use it, I can tell you that the other thing I will try to get my team to do is put a default Dunning schedule in there, because what I found was when I did that, my adoption rate went through the roof and almost no one ever changed it. Even though I just made it up, there were several spelling errors for several years, and it was a little snarky in several points and poorly copywritten because I did all the work. So, but yet it was incredibly effective. I watched people who had $1 million in past due ARR get or accounts receivable AR, get like 200 grand in the first 30 days that they never expected to see again. So we will definitely focus on that because I do know how impactful it can be.
And by the way, I have ADD. That's why I jump around a lot.
That's all good. That's what I'm highlighting. You're able to actually bring in good points across two things, one being discussed and one not being discussed, but tangentially related at the same time.
George, on those defaults that you mentioned there, doesn't that effectively kill off one of our revenue streams in that we can have a set of workflows that we give them as part of this that do all that dunning for them?
Oh, no, what I'm saying is like we would create a recipe or something, right?
Yeah. So once we have the triggers, we'll have these recipes and we can trigger that. I mean, you can use the recipe to trigger whatever action that you want.
And then on the workflow list there, David, there's this idea of like, I can't remember if it's hidden workflows or locked workflows, something like that. But the idea I would imagine is, you could hide that and you could just pretend like you're doing all the work when the workflow is doing all the work.
Exactly. That's what I was meaning. That's
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So we just, if we just hide it, then yeah, you can go on pretending like, whoo, man, I just called all those people today and I got them to pay you. I'm really working hard.
Thanks very much, Sean.
Okay, don't worry. We won't put you out of a job, I promise.
Hey, Sean, on that, are you guys going to do Stripe ACH as well?
Ooh, good question. I don't see why we wouldn't.
Okay.
It's clearly not there today, but that's okay. That's not NASA's fault, but definitely NASA add that to the list. I will tell you.
But isn't Stripe ACH through a third partner like Plaid or something?
It's not. Plaid. So first of all, Plaid is just a verification service, right? So Plaid is like just making sure your bank account actually exists kind of thing. Okay. They're not actually running the ACH charge. Stripe does do the ACH as part of its platform, but they're not the best ACH provider in the world.
They're not.
But I mean, from a pricing perspective, but that's just because they don't want to do ACH. They just did it because they had to. But yes, we probably will because it's part of the API. It's already sitting there, and we'll probably just implement it to begin with. But let's pull back real quick. Long term here, we're bringing in either Authorize.net or NMI because they're better providers on ACH. But more importantly, everyone thinks they have a great deal from their buddy down the street on their payments. And so we'll have to do it anyways, and we'll make sure all that gets implemented all the way through the system. But on version 1, it'll be Stripe, and we'll probably get Stripe ACH before we get third-party payment gateways.
Okay, perfect. Because I just got beta access to it, so I just wanted to make sure.
Beta access? ACH has been out on Stripe for like eons, man.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what they told me. So
maybe it's wait, what changed? Maybe it's better now.
It's complicated to set up without an authorization, like Plaid, right? I mean, you can't do it. With
they bake Plaid into it. I thought the flow is baked in like that.
It's not baked.
It's not.
It's not.
It requires
it's so unbelievably not baked that it's the most not baked thing. It's like
what the heck?
It's like you went to the store and bought Duncan Hines, and then you're talking about making a cake. You seriously haven't opened the box yet. No eggs, no milk.
Well, that is weak.
It's completely not baked. I wouldn't promise to do anything through Stripe ACH.
It's weird because I did Stripe ACH back in the day. I just didn't
you have to do micro deposits with your client and then be like, yo, what are those micro deposits?
Oh, yeah. But I swear that's why Stripe has Plaid, right?
Yeah, but you have to code it into like with the API. You can't just
Got it. I see. Well, thank goodness.
That's why I brought it up, man.
Super smart over here because that's what we'll have to do because that's the only way to fly these days. Especially now that Plaid just finished paying off their massive fine.
Yeah. That's always fun.
What was that?
They settled for $30 million or whatever, right? They're good. But yeah, we should.
$30 million. We got another question from Mike.
Sorry. I love that, Nico.
Folders and emails, funnels, websites, forms, and surveys coming.
Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. Okay, folders in emails, 3 weeks. Trace. 3 weeks.
3 weeks, baby.
Okay.
And funnels and websites tomorrow.
Tomorrow. You stole my thunder, man. All right, tomorrow.
Sorry.
It's all good.
That should be your video. Tomorrow, people.
Tomorrow. It's like I went to an ice cream shop this last weekend and they had a great sign. It said free ice cream tomorrow.
And folders will be both in the templates campaigns.
I'll be here. It'd be free ice cream mañana.
And it'll be in both places. It'll be in the templates stuff that you set up like for campaigns and in the HTML, campaign builder email side.
Yes. So on the email builder, after 3 weeks, you will have the search and the folder capability for both the HTML type and the regular templates. Yes.
Okay, and are templates part of this rollout too? Actual templates with custom fields that we can hand off to a customer. Go, this is your template to use going forward, like actual email templates.
Do you know what remember NASA? We did this. I think you did this where, like, it's the whole idea of every other email system where like you create a template and then when you send it, it becomes like a campaign. Where are we at with that?
That will, we'll start working on that after we release these folders and search option on the emails. So yes, we are going to separate out, clear spacing for email templates, and then you create campaigns out of those email templates. So that we will start working on probably 3 to 4 weeks from now. and that will take about 4 or 5 weeks after that to get released. So yeah, does it answer your question?
Well, so he's talking about Q2 or 3, yeah, probably then. Really.
No. That's you got to do your math there. That's Q2 at worst.
Okay.
Early Q2.
And we're talking about real temp, right? We're talking about actual templates, like, right? I mean, like, again, I hand the customer like, here's 3 or 4 templates as part of your SaaS package. You're going to use these to send out your campaigns and your stuff. We're talking about real, actual templates that will be in a different area that they can access and fill in the blanks and hit the send button.
NASA, do you understand what he's asking? Okay.
Like
every other email system, like MailChimp, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Beautiful.
We modeled it after that. So you're good.
Great.
But first, we're going to do folders because I'm sick of the Facebook comments.
You need that. Folders are important.
I'm going to put folders on folders on folders.
Can we change the name? Can we change the name? Because it's very confusing when we talk about things like templates, because you have templates in, like, the old campaign, like SMS and email templates. And then you have these.
Oh, you know what? We did just put out a job offer to a UX design VP whose whole job it will be to come in and help us deal with language issues and UX issues and all that stuff. So assuming he accepts the job offer, then don't worry. Yes, because we definitely, again, this is about investing in standards and making it just easier and simpler to understand. What a template is versus what not a template is, I think needs to be clarified, but I think we're pretty close. I mean, I think SMS templates are exactly that. It takes that template and copies it into the message, and that becomes part of the message, but it doesn't alter the original template. So that is what a template is by definition in my book. We just need to do the same thing for emails.
I call those canned messages when I refer to them myself, just so we know.
Well, we will go out and we will seek out throughout the world the common standard, and whatever that standard is, we will adopt it.
Great.
Excellent news about a UX designer.
You will have.
Excellent news about a UX designer there, Sean. Thank you.
Yes.
Trust me, I'm telling you, we're working hard to hire great people. It's harder than you think. If you said, does anyone know anyone great? You'll get a lot of people, and most of them are not great.
Yeah. A lot of
media. You put out a job posting looking for a great, awesome, amazing anybody. You get lots of people who apply. They just didn't read the title.
Everybody's a legend in their own mind. That's the problem.
That's my problem. What I wake up to every day. All right. So let's do like 1 or 2 more and let's get out of here because we're way over time.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from Glenn. The CRM question: organization object with attributes, expanded contract attributes, integration with Gmail and Outlook. So add conversation flow in GHL.
We get this on every town hall. This is on the roadmap, and I'll leave it to Sean. Sean can give you the time.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I was just hoping
all the stuff I've been
company object.
All the stuff I've been asking for.
I mean, you know what? It's 100% on the list. It's totally something we want to do. It's just, back to hiring. The sooner I get Shaw an absolute army of people, the sooner he will get to it. And I am fully committed to getting him that army. I am doing everything in my power. And in fact, our interim CFO is very soon no longer going to be our interim CFO because we hired a full-time CFO, and our interim CFO is going to move to chief people officer. And then her job is just going to help hire even faster. So that is the kind of stuff that I spend my day on. I know that's really exciting, gets everybody pumped up, but that's actually what will clear the lanes for this type of stuff. And I don't know if Varun's here, Varun just took a 16-hour flight from Qatar to Dallas. He landed approximately an hour ago. Robin's here, so he picked him up. But he has also been spending most of all of his time hiring. And what's great about this actually is he found this really cool new company that's basically feeding leads into all the way to the dev leads. So that way, instead of having to go through HR and like filter through this big process, we're able to actually hire and reach more candidates a lot faster. I know, really exciting, cool stuff everyone wanted to talk about, but I just want to let you know, we are like tirelessly working on this to try to speed up as fast as we can. Same thing with customer success, same thing with customer support. So absolutely our main focus right now.
is there an update on
Yeah.
a time frame for these things
No,
at all?
no, there's not.
The answer is no. That's awesome, Sean. But let me ask you, what's up with calling, inbound and outbound calling? Do y'all have to get people hired
Q2.
first? Okay.
Yes, I need it.
Okay.
Yeah. Inbound calling will come in Q2.
Okay, cool.
But yes, we will have a phone because it's not. So it is utterly unfair that you call it inbound calling. That is just heresy because it is way bigger than that. Because then it becomes time of day routing, it becomes IVR, it becomes voicemail, it becomes transfer to this person and mobile phone that and blah 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 blah.
I know,
blah.
but now I
There's
have to do all this crazy Google Voice crap and all this other crap right now.
So
and I'm tired
to be
of the
fair, that is a 5 to 7 person engineering team, a product manager, and a QA person at minimum, which is exactly what we're going to put on it. But that's why it's so gosh darn hard to get going on.
Wait, we're almost to my question. Can we keep going?
For God's sakes. All right.
Just ask your questions.
Just
Steve.
ask the question, Steve. Then we're going to wrap on Steve's question. Go for it.
Jump in the line, Steve.
I know, man. One has to do with tags, which I can see is Brian Fisher's above me as well. And then also, what about API?
Okay, well, that wasn't a question. Spit it out, man. What about tags?
My question is tag locks.
Tag locks. Shaw, tag locks. I don't want my dumb clients to be able to delete or mess with or add tags. I think that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. The tag management module. Yeah, that's also really in the pipeline. It's all planned out. We have the designs, everything. We're just waiting for the resource to come in. So my army currently stands at about 4 individuals now on the CRM. So I'm just waiting to have like.
Don't worry, I'm blowing it out to at least 12. Don't you worry. I have big plans.
Okay, so we're on the API to turn on HIPAA.
Oh, that should be who handles API here besides Karan? He's not here.
Speak Kumar.
Okay, who? Okay, Shaw, I'm tagging you on that one. That is an easy one to add.
Yeah, it's already there. I saw that on our, but I'll just confirm that.
Okay, so apparently it may already be there, Steve, in some form, fit, or fashion.
All
so
right.
we'll try to run that down for you.
Oh, look.
We have that. Okay.
Thanks.
Perfect.
What about tag coloring? The ability to change the color of a tag.
Oh, we don't have that, but we can. I'll look into it as well.
All right, everybody. Well, on that note, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
See you next time.
See you, everyone.
See ya.